Hey, Nancy from Soulvibe here, and get comfy because today we're going to talk about the ego. So, the ego in spirituality sometimes gets a bit of a bad rap, doesn't it? Everybody's like, transcend the ego. Let your ego go. The ego is evil, and so on and so forth. Well, there are pluses and minuses to this, okay? When we're talking from a psychological standpoint, your ego is your sense of self. It's your I am. In astrology, it's the sun. In early psychology, it is your drive. Okay, when we're talking about people like Freud and Jung, who I happen to like a whole lot more than Freud. The spiritual idea about getting rid of ego stems from your sense of self, your sense of I am, wanting things to feed it, okay? Wanting individuality. So maybe you're into clothes that express who you are, and then you become attached. That it is your ego that forms attachments, and that those attachments will eventually cause you pain. In other religions, it's about putting yourself before God, and that would be considered to be sinful, to put your own personality, your own sense of self before the importance of God, being too self-important. In a pop culture sense, having a big ego means being self-centered, right? Being into yourself, being maybe a little narcissistic in your tendencies. But let's talk about for a moment the sense of I am and why that is important to your spiritual journey, to your ascension, to your feeling the shift, to your awakening. Well, here's the thing. Some folks say, and I can't say that I disagree, that if you want to know what your soul is, to listen to your thoughts, to observe your thoughts. Who's observing? Your soul, right? Your soul is observing your ego, your sense of I am. The question then becomes, does your sense of I am come from your soul, or does it come from your brain? Is your consciousness your I am, or is your consciousness just how your brain developed? Well, I don't swear that I have all the answers, because I don't think anybody does. And I believe that anybody who gives you all of the answers to what consciousness is making it up. Okay? Because we don't have firm, clear answers to consciousness, because it was so taboo to study. It was, scientists are starting to look at it now, but for many years it was considered anti-science to even think about things having to do with the consciousness. And so we have not really made the strides in that area of science that maybe we could have by now if it wasn't considered to be hooey. Okay? The scientists who wanted to separate spirituality from science to such a firm atheistic degree of almost being, I don't know, zealotous, because in my opinion, being an atheist is a belief system. Okay? You're so sure that there's nothing spiritual. And unfortunately, that also creates a certain kind of bias, right? So when there was this trend in science to be so atheist, to the point of being an atheist zealot, people wanted to laugh at other people who wanted to investigate consciousness the way that they used to laugh at people who thought maybe they should wash their hands after, like, helping women give birth. Okay? So as we as human beings tend to, evolve, and as we see this shift in our collective consciousness towards things that are more spiritual and things that we're looking to control, the ego plays a big part in this. And that is something that we seriously have to look at. But in the meanwhile, your sense of I am, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Soulvibe's concerned, is pretty darn important. How would you know what kind of lessons your soul would like you to learn if you didn't have a sense of I am? Now, that doesn't mean that we should become self-absorbed into our sense of I am. We shouldn't. We should actually probably spend a lot of time thinking about how our actions can impact the world around us, and how our ability to think and to feel and to get up and do things can help us do wonderful things for the next generations, for people, for animals, for the planet, for everything. Humans wouldn't be able to function as humans without a sense of I am. And it's quite possible that we wouldn't have purpose. We wouldn't learn our lessons that we're here to learn. We wouldn't have a human experience without a sense of I am, without a sense of me. Now, should we transcend that? To some degree, I would suppose that we should. Here we are in our little meat basket, okay, with our brains stuck in our heads. There's like, I don't know how thick the skull is. What, maybe half an inch? I don't know. I don't think I've ever like Googled that. But you have a lot of bone like around your brain. The only thing that your brain knows is probably vibration, okay? But your ears are set up to send it sound signals from the outside. Your eyes are there to reflect, and the sound signals, what are they? They're just vibrations, right? Your eye signals are just reflections of light. Your smell, your taste, all of these things are just picked up by different sensors on your body to be sent to this brain that's encased and can't hear, see, or do anything. And we are under our limited perceptions of our eyes, our ears, our mouths, our noses, our sense of touch. And we can't even touch things. We're always repelled by other electrons. It feels like we're touching, feels like we're smashing fingers together, but there's always a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of space. We are islands. Now, maybe it's highly possible that the lessons from being here are supposed to bring us closer together so that we can evolve past being islands. Okay? And to be the spiritual beings that we are. But in the meantime, that sense of I am is important for us to recognize, to understand, not just to ascend over it, but we would not be given an ego, a purpose, a sense of I am, unless that was not extraordinarily important to our spiritual development. Because of the fact that we are islands, we have to develop first as me before we can become we. We have to find the highest level of human potential in this experience in order to find our spiritual potential. We know that there are collective conscious archetypes. These archetypes are things that we all have to experience. They are part of being human. We all have them somewhere in our psychological makeup. I think that self-exploration into who I am helps me be more tolerant. That might not be the right word. More accepting. More, I don't even know exactly what that word should be. More connected. Maybe that's it. More connected to you. So before you throw the ego baby out with the bathwater, I would like you to self-reflect on who this I am, who this me really is, and how this person inside of you that you can observe, that your soul can observe, what's their purpose? Where can we grow? Where can you grow? Where can I grow? This ego that we have, this sense of I am, is a very exciting experience. What will you do with yours? So before you toss it away, maybe the answer is to just get to know it just a little bit better. And if you like this message at all, please do visit us at soulvibe.com. We have messages, horoscopes, fortune cookies. Send them to you every single day for free to your inbox or through our app. Just come visit us and please subscribe so that you never miss a message. And I want to thank you and tell you to have a fantastic, beautiful, gorgeous day.